Welcome to the Unfiltered Galaxy. Strap in and secure your seat because we're leaving Earth behind and launching headfirst into the weird, the unexplained, and the unknown. Tonight we're setting course for one of internet's most controversial UFO mysteries, the Varginha alien dump.
Pronounce Varginha correctly according to locals.
Varginha.
Varginha.
Varginha. Varginha, Minas Gerais.
Mysterious documents, extraordinary claims, and questions that seem to get stranger the deeper you look. As we leave the familiar world behind and venture into the cosmic unknown, you can decide for yourself what's fact, what's fiction, and what's still waiting to be uncovered. Let's take off.
Brazil just made an absolute boss move in UFO transparency and dropped the receipts on nearly 900 UFO cases. This is huge. So on May 31st, Brazil's National Archives released 893 UFO cases, to be exact, to the public. And we're talking about sightings from 1952 all the way up to 2023, complete with photos, audio
1952 all the way up to 2023.
recordings, witness drawings, detailed official reports. The files were originally set to drop on June 13th, but they went live early with no warning. And there's some seriously amazing stuff inside. So I've only cracked into it just a touch, and already it's mind-blowing. It talks about cases like the 1977 Colares incident, where locals were reportedly injured by beams of light coming from low-flying UFOs it was so intense that the Brazilian military launched Operation Saucer.
There were like 400 kids that got injured by these beams of light coming from the spaceships or from aliens, and they were hospitalized. We'll get more into that here in a second.
To investigate. There's also the 1986 Night of the UFOs, where 21 objects were spotted across southern Brazil, tracked on radar and chased by Air Force jets. So if you want to check it out yourself, there's a website you can go to. I'll list it right here. You'll need to register, but the docs are public. A lot of it's in Portuguese, but you can get it translated. Brazil just raised the bar. It's your move, Pentagon. Follow for more, because I'm going to be cracking into this.
Yeah, they beat our officials by releasing like 800 of 2,000 pages of documents when they promised us that they were going to dump, but they don't. Just like Epstein, it's like, you know, it's never going to happen probably, which is crazy. This is in Brazil. It's like the all-seeing eye. Okay, so in this clip, Dr. Italo Venturelli recounts what he witnessed at Hospital Humanitas during the 1996 Varginha UFO incident, an encounter that still defies explanation. He describes a small hairless being with a drop-shaped head and lilac eyes, not frightened, not injured, but calm, aware, almost familiar. He said its gaze felt peaceful, even angelic, and that someone filmed it. If this was misidentification, why does every professional witness describe the same thing?
And it looked like another case of Cruzon syndrome. It was a child. It looked like one. But I asked him, "What is this?" He said, "It's here." He came over. There was a screen. A cover, right? I looked, got closer, and it was there. There was a being there, totally different from a human being. He wasn't an adult. He was like a 7-year-old child. Covered. Here, the hand inside, here the hand outside. Very calm, at ease. The skull looked like a drop. The eyes also looked like 2 drops. Lilac, not red. white skin, no foul smell. At first glance, it looked like Casper, the friendly ghost, you know, from the cartoon.
It looks like E.T.
Looked like him. But I looked, and the being looked at me very calmly, very peacefully. He looked out the window. He looked back at me. Very calm, and I even asked my colleague, and he said, "What do you think?" And we approach it as doctors. If there's bleeding, pain, agitation, if breathing is normal, if there's need for emergency care. So I said, "Okay." Once again, what do you think? I looked again. It's not bleeding. It's not in pain. It's breathing normally. No problem. Everything's fine. The being looked at me. As I always say, it looked at me with a very beautiful look. Not a judgmental look, not a look of fear. It had the look of someone who understands very well what is going on. But it was a different person, a different being. It wasn't human at all. It wasn't a case of human anomalies. It was a different being.
The description is so in detail. It's amazing to think that he is a doctor and he is just making all of this up. I think it lends credibility to the fact that this whole story is a reality, is the truth. That's wild. So the story goes is there was an alien when a couple of girls were walking down an alley, saw this alien crouched down and looked extremely scared, but they got like a telepathic signal from him that he wasn't a threat. And then they went off to tell their parents and came back and he was gone. That's the story, I believe.
Capture of at least 2 alien creatures. One alien was captured in the morning of that day, which was a Saturday, about 10:30, by a fire department and some personnel.
And then apparently they captured him and he went to the hospital and they were able to examine him.
From the army. Another creature was seen at the same day by middle afternoon by 3 girls. That night of the Saturday, January 20, 1996, that second creature, probably the same one saw by the girls, was also captured by a police troop, a police car, actually a military police car with 2 policemen inside.
There was a crashed UFO in Varginha, Brazil in 1996. Everyone who was alive back then has a story of seeing these things flying through the air.
Yeah.
The people that made contact with these creatures, one of them died of a horrible bacterial infection. There's record of them transporting it to 3 different hospitals.
Wow.
Yeah, wild shit, man. Wild
Wow.
shit. They did an autopsy on it, supposedly. The Air Force supposedly flew into Varginha, Brazil, and came back with the wreckage.
Okay, so our journey through the weirdness of the Virginia alien file dump comes to an end for today. We're left somewhere between answers and mystery. So make sure you're subscribed because we're going to hit this more tomorrow and the next days, and we're going to go deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole, and we're going to uncover some crazy stuff. So I do not want you to miss it. So please make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on any of the action of this community. And make sure you show that like button some love. And that's it for today. But I will see you on the road. This is Madden King. I'm out. Peace. Have a great day.